Well, welcome everyone. It is Thursday, August 13th, and we are here for yet another virtual Wisdom Council call. Our topic tonight is the idea of crossing the threshold. Before we get started, I want to just let everybody know about what we've got coming up on the calendar. Hopefully, at this point, you're aware of sacredcenter.net/events is where all of the dates are. But most specifically is the upcoming summer chill class that's happening Saturday and Sunday, August 29th and 30th. And this is the place to continue or begin your sacred center studies. And really specifically, Eleanor is going to be spending some time on health kinesiology and muscle testing. In addition to the work with the Chumpies, this is really that sense of how you ask the body questions is going to be a really key part of the class. It's always baked in, but I know that's up for Elle right now. And if you go to the website, you'll see there's the rest of the dates that are coming up for the rest of the year. We'll include the link in the email and as well as under the video here on YouTube if you're catching us in the recording. So with that, I'm going to turn us over to Eleonora and we'll get started.
Hi, everybody. Just a little bit more on the classes. I thought that we were up to a time now where a lot of people are involved in all kinds of healing work and spiritual work and meditation and eating the right foods and taking the right supplements and meditating and whatever is your lane to be part of something greater than just 3D world. And I think that landscape is so vast and there's so much to it. And I think that having been a teacher of health kinesiology, somebody pointed it out, it's like 40 years. I was like, oh my God. It's like that old. Like my daughter was like one at the time, or two, or no, one. But that's when I met Jimmy Scott, and I always look back at that as being like such a valuable person to meet. He has passed on, but he developed this incredible system that's applicable, especially now. It's like, well, I've got this whole big landscape, and I wanna finally, get my cholesterol, say being very mundane, get my cholesterol down, and I'm taking this, and I'm going here, and I'm going there, and everything. Well, there's a way you can actually ask this vessel, what's the choices that you have? What can you do? There's like a whole system that's very applicable to our time now. Like, how can you ask the body questions? So I decided to really give that a lot more attention in the classes, within the scope of sitting in the house of the Chumpies. My place here is called Chumpi Wasi. The Chumpies were in the foundation of this the Sacred Center when I built it, and it was actually blessed. The Keto, the indigenous ones from Peru back then, when they first came on the scene in I think the early 1990s, they actually slept in this place and they called it Chumpi Wasi. I just look back and I'm like, yeah, that's important, that's important, that's important. So as you go along, you just build up steam, and then you got to step back and go like, where are we at now? And how can we actually anchor our reality? We know what the 3D world is. Part of the talk today is like stepping outside of the collective, I don't know what the right word is, the collective brainwashing, you might say. There's a collective thought form that if you're, say, going through menopause at 55, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. I have women now who are in their late 40s, early 50s, and they do a they're saying like, oh, you should get on, bone like calcium supplements. Like, and you're like, what? Well, that's going to happen to you anyway, so you might as well start ahead. So taking charge, being sovereign in your life, and making choices that are free of being told what to do is really what today is about, and what I think this next couple of years is about. Does that make sense, Sue? So I was reminded that last time I talked a lot about the entry of the heart, because that is a consistent topic for us. Like when we enter the heart space and we get through the physical heart and even get through the emotional heart and bring our reality to, let's call it a universal heart, we still stop there. We still don't surrender completely into the gateway. That's one of the gateways into a greater reality, right? Is the heart. The other strong gateway is the third eye. And a lot of the work of the Chumpis, some of you know, is about really getting good at embodying non-duality, where you're able to hold two opposing thoughts, and your belief might be pointing you to one choice, but you leave your belief out of it and you just hold the energies of the two opposing thoughts or items or whatever it is, and that surrender is the gateway. The surrender of, I don't know what I don't know. I say this a lot in classes and in my life, like you surrender to what you don't know that you don't know. And that place is kind of the gateway, the threshold to like be open to the frequency that's just outside of our collective reality here. And we could, like maybe a couple of years ago it sounded a little etheric, but right now it's getting more and more real. The reason I like to really emphasize this as a collective meeting is because I think collectively we can attain or embody something that we can't necessarily do individually. So that's kind of the point. So let me just read what and traveling a lot. There's doorways. There, even in Cusco, and I'm sure you who've gone to other countries, do you like look at doorways sometimes, especially the old ones, 100 years old, 200 years old, and you just go like, wow, that's old. I wonder how many people went through that doorway, went through that, gateway. And, like in Peru, and I'm sure in other places where there are temples and holy places, or just houses really in the woods, you like see these massive like entryways. In having gone to India and Nepal a couple of times, a few times, they do gateways really well. Like it's like we don't care what's really behind the gate, but the gate is like got all the figurines and just it's beautiful. The gateways are beautiful. And I think it's very symbolic, and I want to try to make it real today, because even if you meditate or go to some place that seems a little bit scary, should we say, like say you're at the ocean, it's beyond you want to, swim out, further than where you've ever swam. Say you want to see whales on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. There's been a lot of that in my life in the recent month, just watching whales. And whales are a tremendous gateway, because like you stand there and like you see a whale jumping out of the water, and like that whale is connected to something that we have no idea on all levels. So, the awesomeness of this gigantic whale, like going out and looking you in the eye, is a gateway, right? And do you just surrender to that, or is it scary, or are you intimidated by it? Taking a chance with your health, say, going on a trip, on a journey, doing something that's not in your, comfort zone. These are all gateways. Actually, the trips to Peru that I've consistently done every year is all about just show up. Just show up. Don't care where we're going. It doesn't really matter. It's all about surrender, surrender. Enter the gateway, just enter the gateway, see what's on the other side, And so that's what today's kind of about. I want to apply the chumpies to that. I did write something down. Let me just see if I forgot. There are some key words when you embrace the unknown. And let's say what's known. What's known is, I'm calling it the 3D world, right? Right? And if we sit down and we do some spiritual work, or we do some healing work, or you do Reiki, or you do the verb of we do means we're not in the gateway, right? We're not in that gateway. We're doing, this is how I look at the spiritual life that we've all led for the last decade, 2 decades, is we're always trying to meditate. It's kind of an oxymoron, like the trying, or it's like a muscle, if you want to build your muscles, you have to do it every day. So you have to be in a place where you're able to just surrender. Now, the chumpies are really very, very important, or very practical in this sense, because the chumpies will give you a form. The chumpies are gateways. They actually are. They're star systems. They're the anchors between this reality and the constellations and the Pleiades, Arcturus, all of what's in the sky that we don't know what we don't know up there. How could we possibly? That's what the chumpies are. They're gateways. They're structures that connect us. They're like Legos, So by putting the stones around us, even if you're not into chumpies yet, or never will be, it's more like creating stones, creating what could be a doorway or a gateway around you, right? And then you feel the consciousness. This is what happens in our brain. Our brain goes, oh, okay, so now I'm in a form, and so now I can go deeper into what I don't know that I don't know, right? So it's like a transitioning place. And anything you want to add to that, Marisa or Sue? No? Okay. So there's even, I forgot the name of it, this place, I'm blank. There are places like this in Peru and in India, and I'm sure right here in the United States. Actually, I'm up against Way Beyond State Park, which is 300,000 acres of woods. When I go up the road to walk, I walk into the park, and all of a sudden, everything changes. The trees are big, the pathway is wet, there's old residue of things that were there. As you walk deeper and deeper into, you hear the sounds, and you know that you don't live in those woods. There's bears, there's fox, we have turkeys now everywhere, there's deer. And so as I was walking through, I was feeling this whole thing about this is unknown. I could have just walked in it and said oh, I'm taking a hike and I'm walking in it, But you could go deep, 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 deep into the acreage of the woods this way. So I was challenging myself, and I'm like, okay, what is this? Like I'm surrendering, 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 surrendering. And then it was not about going anywhere. It was about really understanding the energy of that place right there. I mean, it's a sacred place, no doubt about it. There's stuff that happened there. And the more I just surrendered and surrendered and allowed the noise of the woods and and allowed myself to be a visitor in there, and then being a visitor, I felt like I was in an exchange with it, right? There's a catch-all word called aini, reciprocity. I was in it, right? And then I just like lost consciousness for a couple of seconds, and that's what I'm talking about, like right now. Like, let's see if we could get to that place where that surrender is possible and is accessible, and not something like woo woo, or we have to go to all kinds of lengths of light or incense, say a prayer, light the candles. You could do all that anyway, but that's not going to get you to where I'm talking about, the surrender. Because what we don't know, that's the place that's accessible right now. That's an accessible place. That's not just some spiritual mojo that I'm talking about. You'll see in the next years, like I'm sure all of you are conscious to what's going on in the world. And I don't mean just news. I mean just in AI and everything. There's so many things happening that if you don't learn how to surrender, you're gonna end up on you're gonna either smoke a lot of pot or you're gonna end up taking pills or something. There's too much. There's a lot, right? The surrender allows you to carry all of that and make choices, which I mean is going to be, I think, our challenge in the future. Like we could. It's like, wait a minute, I got all this information, I'm looking at it in ChatGPT, I know everything, everything, everything. Okay, now what? What do I do? Like what's my step? What's my next step, right? And trying new things, if you never ate an egg in your life, try an egg, or what did I just eat? Oh, I just tried something new, in a Middle Eastern store. I was like, I keep avoiding that. I'm like, no, I'm going to try it, I don't think I'll order it again, but it was quite pleasant. So, so we have a lot of support in this realm right now and always. And does anybody not have chumpies that I'm looking at on the call? Linda, you don't? Do you have stones? And Jane, the two of you don't? Do you have stones with you?
I don't have chumpies, but I have lots of stones, and I've experienced chumpies.
Okay. Well, even if you don't have stones, I'm going to give you a form that we're all going to lay in. And I muscle tested this too to see what form would be appropriate for what we're doing today. Also, anyway, I don't want to talk too much about what happens, because then I think I'm giving you too much information. But the form it's a kind of a strange form. We might have had it before, but it's where, it's one stone is on the heart. I don't know if you could see it. One stone is on the heart, and one stone goes above the head, right? So you have like a vertical line that connects the 7th, 8th chakras right to the heart. And then the line across here is through the third eye. So on one side is a 3 and the other side is a 2, right? So it's like a diamond, but the
Can you hold
middle.
it up again now? I think holding it up a little more would be helpful. Yeah, that perfect.
So
Okay.
so it incorporates the third eye, because the third eye in all traditions is where you surrender, right? It's the nothingness place where you go deep into a place that's not thought
Mhm.
but includes everything, right? That's the third eye. So it goes through here, and then the heart. We have to, whatever I think, and I think it's always going to include the heart, because the heart is a portal, and the third eye is a portal. So we're connecting the two. And so above is 6. And I thought about this. I thought like maybe everybody should pick their own numbers, but then I asked and it said that we should all do the same thing. Because I think collectively it's a lot more empowering. I think collectively is what this is about. And this is what's different about the wisdom calls than a couple of years ago. You know, it was individual getting in. Collectively, we can get somewhere where the individual can grow and expand and deepen their connection with self. Another way, in addition to working on yourself, right? So it's this is like a little bit of an experiment. So then we got the 6 and the 4 here, and that equals a 10. 10 is freedom. 6 is communion. 6 is embodies communion. Like again, the same idea. Like we're communing means we're not choosing to commune. We're just communing. If we could live in communion with everyone, that would be like wonderful, where you meet somebody and you're in communion, and then you could have a decision or a choice of what to do, walk away or not or whatever. But what we do is like we hesitate, something we don't know. This is collective that we do this in our country, in the Western world. We decide whether we want to or not, even if it's with people, with ideas, with beliefs, with food. This is how we've been trained here, to first decide and then do. We're going to practice falling in, surrendering, and then from that perspective, choose what the next step for you is. It's like a little bit of a shift, but it's a massive shift for us if we get used to it. It's just all getting used to it. And then 2 and 3 equals 5. 5 is harmony. Being in harmony. In order to surrender like that, you have to be in harmony with yourself. And then they add up to, 10 and 5 is 15. It equals 6, the third eye, right? And 6 is communion. And the shadow of communion is judgment, self-judgment, and, and we're so good at that. Like, did we make the right choice? Should we did this? Or is that the right thing? Or ain't that, the whole. We could choose after we surrender. Instead of choose to surrender, we have to surrender and then see what comes our way. Usually it's something we never thought of, Oh, isn't that interesting? Let me try that. Just shuffle our life up a little bit in this very subtle way, I think is our next kind of thing that we're hopefully going to practice, like especially on the calls together. Linda, are you with us here? Do you have any questions?
Oh, you're
No?
muted, Linda.
The Linda from the Linda, I'm pointing like
The Linda.
Yeah, you look like you had a question. No? Okay.
No,
Okay.
but I did want to say, I had, um, the whole idea for us in this Western world is thinking. Everything is thinking, thinking, thinking. To get our brains to stop thinking, when you do the healing, there's sound, and then that sound is a chance to let your brain be quiet and
Mhm.
follow the sound, and then get your brain to like be in this construct so that you can drop.
Yeah, Sue uses that word a lot, which is very true, is dropping. Yeah, I didn't mention that we do sound. You need the form, you need an idea that an intention, and you need sound. Those three things together create transformation. Period. It's a fact.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if you're just sitting in a sound bath, it's wonderful. But add these two other things, and like something deep gets something that you could hold, keep building on that. You go, oh yeah, now I have a little muscle in that realm,
Mhm.
you know. So I think, yeah, I was just thinking about it too. So it's releasing, you might find yourself releasing with the sounds. I'll see. It was interesting because I had half a day today. So I let it's so I
Not
let
sure.
uh-oh.
Go ahead. No, you're okay.
Oh, so I let the bowls and stuff like pick me. They're like pick
Can
me.
you tilt us down a little bit? We see your couch.
Oh,
There they are, little friends.
yeah. Yeah, and a lot of the bowls that came today are mostly my old bowls. Some of the bowls are a couple of 100 years old. And there's two new ones that came from a Nepalese family. An old bell, a very old bell, some feathers, which I won't mention what they are, and a jungle rattle. I just thought I was just also like, huh?
Shay is unmuted because she had a question, but Shay, do you have a question so we can then?
Yes, yes. So I'm a little confused. So Al, the number 6 goes above your head, and number 3 goes to the right of your third eye, like by your temples, and number 2 goes on the other side, on the left, and then 4 goes on your heart. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Yep. Yep.
So
Got
it's
it.
right on. It's nothing's on the third eye. It's above your head.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
Okay, you can unmute me then. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Shay.
Okay. So then there's a jungle rattle. I don't know. I just found it kind of fun for me not to pick the pick the sounds. So we'll see how they play us, right? Yeah. So let me see if I have any other notes. Right. It's like a time for a renewal. That's the word that came through too as I went through a list. It's renewal time. And I'm sure everybody like has gotten the memo of the eclipse and the lineup of planets, and the universe is conspiring on our behalf tonight because a lot of stuff is going on to support us. So I'm happy about that. So okay, well let's everybody get their stones. If you don't have stones, just lay on the floor or sit and just take it in. And
I'm s-
Marisa, if my sound doesn't sound good, let me know. Okay, I'm going to play it now.
Okay.
I'm s- I'm sorry. Can we just repeat again the position of the stones, please?
So
Oh, sure.
1 second, Channy. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Go, one more time, Al. Play it again, please. Sounds like singing bowls. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
And
All
and
right.
Connie's asked us for one more quick recap. Yep, there you go.
Who's asking? Oh, honey,
Connie.
above
Does
the
this
head is a 6 on
okay?
the right. On the heart is a 4.
Okay.
To the right of your eye, outside of your head, is a 2. And on the other side is a 3.
Thank you so much.
And we have honey from Brazil. We've got South America in the house.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, could meet back here. Um, Sue, any comments or any? No?
Yes. So I had I- in the beginning with the sound, it felt um, like something was cleaning off my nervous system, like all of that electromagnetic static. Are you there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that I guess accumulates, in a life, as we're off doing whatever. I could just feel the static kind of dissolving. And with all of the sound, I just kept feeling again that letting go, surrender, dropping, dropping, dropping. I could feel almost like that same static, like leaving my fingertips, leaving my feet, until then I don't know where I ended up. I was in that surrender place.
Mm.
But it was interesting about the
Yeah,
feel the static being like cleaned off.
yeah, we don't often remember that we're electrical. We're electrical and magnetic. With the amount of movement that we're living in is an overload. Um, Marisa, you have any?
I always find it fascinating when we have a shape that feels like it's head oriented. And this is kind of to put Sue's point before around like we do spend so much time thinking. But I found it was remarkable that it was almost as if my head was held so that I could really feel more rooted into my body. And it just was so much sensation really from the heart down that it had this, and I just kept getting this sensation of, lavender can be such a grounding scent. It really felt like this. it, there's no such thing as elemental lavender, but it was almost like feeling that something, some sense of that. And
Hmm.
it really felt like that freedom to say, oh, if my third eye is held and the vision is here, then my body just gets to be what it is. And I guess it was like surrendering into the body because my heart and my third eye were held so well.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point because we're often like we start from our body and try to get to our third eye and our heart, right? Where if they're held in that diamond shape, then the body, like you're able to relate to the body in a very different way.
And
It's
enjoy the body somehow. It felt
Yeah.
like an enjoy, like, and like, again, that like, oh, lavender, it's a massage. It's like, oh, it was a soothing in a really beautiful way. So thank you.
There, so if this is going to be on tape, so you could listen to this, it'd be good to just kind of re-listen to it, maybe like every day, say for one, two, I'm testing for like just for 4 days, just to like whether just to embody whatever we're doing here. The one thing I want to add is I was, we have, if you're not familiar, we have water essences that I collected. Some of you may not know that I've collected from sacred waters for the last 40, 30, at least 30 years. I mean, I stopped collecting, but I would, go to some waterfall in a sacred place or some lagoon, or so I tested to see what water, because if you sometimes take the water, it's almost like a homeopath, the water has a frequency to it to support this. whether you get the water or not is on the website. It's interesting what tested. It came up a 6, right? Which kind of makes sense because that was the addition, like the healing equal to 6. Accepting transition. When you embrace the unknown, you enter communion with your truest self, piercing the veil to experience the everlasting flow of life. And it heals judgment and manipulative energies, provides support as you face the unknown, and allows you to embrace what is instead of what you wish were true. And it's kind of like summarizes it too. And I found it really interesting that it's from, I collected the water from Madre de Dios, the Amazon jungle, right, in Peru. So if you've ever been to the Amazon, like there's no way, like the Amazon is so enormous, the energy. And it's like the ants everybody's eating something. Like you look on the ground and every insect's eating something, a fly's eating that, a snake it's like such a earth, like it's what's happening, life in like on this most amazing earth. So it's the Amazon makes you hold your breath, like, okay. I don't know what this, like it just makes you like surrender and really be grateful and just listen. And so it's kind of like, it just kind of emphasizes, that we're, what this meditation was today. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. If you want to email me or text me what your impression was, or you want me to put my 2 cents into whatever you were feeling, please. That's my main. That's what I'm doing nowadays, is answering any kind of questions. Okay. So I wish everybody a great night, and thank you so much for showing up. It's amazing. I'm still amazed. So, and thanks, Marisa, for holding the space. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
All
Okay.
right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Eleanor.
everybody.
Good
Bye.
night.
Good seeing you. Good night.
Good night.